You know what I
Speaking of
realised we
sport-
never talked about on the podcast?
What's that?
The wrestling.
The West. Oh, yeah.
We
Fuck,
didn't talk
that'll
about
be
it.
a while ago.
Fuck, that'll be
Literally like a month and a half ago. So guys, this is what I mean. This is what comes with us having to pre-record episodes because Lockie's going away for 2.5 months. I did some wrestling with PWA, which is the Pro Wrestling Australia company. I think people know the story where I was drunk on the train one night and I saw one of their videos on TikTok and I commented, I'd fuck all of you up whilst being drunk, being silly. And the next day they reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do a guest spot? And since then, every year I've kind of been invited back to do a spot as a character that is just essentially
Yourself.
myself, amplified to the most annoying and douchey and evil. And it started off the first year, I wasn't really that involved. I was just kind of being annoying around the ring and I took one punch, fell down. That was cool. And then the next year, they had me in one of their matches called a Rumble, which has 30 people in it. One person comes out every minute and a half, and the only way to eliminate them is throw them over the top rope and have them hit the ground. And that year, I'm always accompanied by a guy called Reese Angel, piece of shit, fucking betrayed me this time. We'll get into that. But he was injured that year, so they put me into it. And I have no wrestling training. So I was very scared, but I got to do some cool moves, take some cool moves.
It was pretty awesome.
It was awesome. And then this year came back again and pretty fun. They said, do you want to come out with a steel chair? I was like, I'd love to. Who am I hitting? And they were like, there's a lovely lady called Cherry Stevens, an amazing Australian pro wrestler. And so my immediate action when I stepped in the ring was to hit her as hard as I could in the stomach with this steel chair. And then I gave the chair to Reese, who I thought was my ally. I held her up, giving him a free shot at Cherry. He decided that he didn't want to do that. Didn't stick to the plan. There was a push and shove. Slaps were thrown. Punches were thrown. I may or may not have been knocked out for a good duration. But then I did end up eliminating Reese because he's a fucking loser.
Yep.
I got him. You can see it in the video. The video would be up by now.
And you did eliminate. Who else did you eliminate?
Myself, because when you have 5 dudes who are all 6'2" and over and have extensive wrestling training coming towards you, and one of them slaps you on the chest so hard that there is a hand mark 7 days after you were, made contact.
That is so crazy.
So I eliminated myself purely because I thought if I eliminate myself, it gives somebody else a chance to win. Because usually that sort of thing's not going to happen.
True.
So again, PWA, like I said in my promo, you're relevant again every time I talk about you, so you're welcome. And guys, keep an eye out for future events at PWA. I might pop up again next time they need a ratings boost. And next time somebody needs an ass whooping. Backman, Cherry Stevens, Jess Troy. I'll even call out Delta, the Velocities.
Jess Troy.
PPK.
That's my wife.
Just what? Jess Troy, the champion?
Yeah.
They can all catch these hands. Nikki, you can catch these hands.
Jess Troy is awesome. That's my wifey.
I'm just going to call them all. Nikki and Frankie from PPK can catch these hands. The Velocities, I don't think they can even reach me. Sam Osborne, Will Keedus, I'll smash your melons together. Who else we've got? Jimmy Townsend, Mick Moretti. I'll clothesline the hell out of all of you. Third Eye, you can catch these hands as well.
You know who's handsome? Scott Green.
I thought you'd say that.
Really?
I thought you'd say that.
Really?
He's
one
a
of those, handsome man.
He's one of those dudes who I look at and I'm like, fuck, that's how I think I look. He's just got a fantastic smile on him.
He has and like his haircut is good. It's like
that's
it's
what I
like
mean. It sits perfectly.
It's like the Inner West, like it has like mullet features to it, but it's not in the
but it looks
garage party dingy
but it looks
way.
like he was born with it. It doesn't look like he's done any maintenance. It just looked like it's done that. Scott Green and the Tuckman, the tag team, the Dropouts. Scott Green, hilariously for his entrance at the Rumble, didn't come out of the entranceway like the rest of us. Scott Green's character, obviously, as you can tell from the last name, loves a bit of the puff.
Devil's lettuce.
He comes out with a bag of chips and, some baggy green pants on. He had a fantastic entrance where he had a fog machine underneath the ring that clouded up. And
That's sick.
And he came out from under the ring as if he was hotboxing the ring and it was fantastic.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Scott Green, that's another one who can catch these hands. Pretty much any one of them.
He can catch me if I...
Well, funnily enough, I might have to cut this out unless it's confirmed. But this might be far enough in the future. I'll have to ask him. So Scott actually got asked to audition for Love Island.
Oh, sick.
And you know what I don't ever tell people because I've done the audition process for Love Island before. I've been asked to go do it, and I'll tell that story at some stage.
Wow, I didn't know this.
You know that?
No, news to me.
I got asked to audition for Love Island, and I did the whole audition process. There's photos out there of me in a board short doing the love heart sign. I'll tell you that's a story for another time. But Scott got asked to. He told me he got asked to audition for Love Island, and he went along. And you know what he did? That I don't like telling people, dude, you're so fucking in. But after he told me what he did for his audition, I'm like, I don't see any reason for them to not pick you. He walked in with his championship belt on and cut a promo as if he was a wrestler talking about how he's going to find love in the villa. And I'm like, dude, do you know how much the producers are going to eat that up? Because the Love Island producers, they want to find one thing about your personality and make it everything.
Push it.
So like,
yeah.
I have a friend who
They
was
want the
on,
taglines for the show.
Yeah, I have a friend who was on Love Island, and I think the only difference between her and everyone else was she was the only one with the university degree, and so her whole thing was
and not just the beauty, but the brains.
So they had her walk out in like graduation gown and cap, and I was just like, dude, they're going to box you into this thing of just he's the wrestler, but it's perfect because no one else has ever done that.
No one.
Hey, Matt, they have him walk in with the belt. They'll probably have challenges that will suit him. They'll be like, they'll set up a wrestling ring and you have to like fight for somebody's heart. You'll have to cut a promo. I honestly thought like as soon as he said he walked in and did that, I'm like, you're one of the very rare people, especially men who will go on Love Island, and I think all of Australia will fall in love with you.
Yeah.
I think he could be what people hoped Harry Jowsey was. Lovable Aussie larrikin, but I know Scott and he's a great guy. Aww, he's a fantastic man.
Stop it. I was standing with Dave Woodhead.
Dave Woodhead, shout out.
Shout out. Lunchtimes with Triple J. Mm-hmm. Dave Woodhead. I was standing with...
Yeah, sorry. In conclusion, everyone from PWA can catch these hands. You pussies.
Everyone from PWA can catch my hands on you.
Famously, enemies of the pod, anyone who wrestles for PWA. And on Eden's fucking list, everyone from PWA.
They're so awesome.
It's a really hot company.
I was standing
backstage, everyone's really hot.
They're all so beautiful.
Everyone's jacked and they all get in like these amazing...
The costumes.
The gear.
The whole time I was watching, I was standing with your mum for this part. I was like, we've got to get him a costume. We've got to get him a better costume though. He needs a coat. Like, I was like, who's got a sewing machine? And Danelle was dying. It was really cute.
But it is a very attractive locker room from the men and the women. It is.
And you know what? It's so like the whole thing is very progressive.
Yeah.
They got
men fighting women.
And but not in a like, kind of way. It's like it never read as like, are we looking at something bad here? It always reads as like, oh, cool. Like it would feel more patronizing to only let the girls fight the girls, etc. Like they do it in a way that it feels so supportive. It really does feel like, no, it's anyone's game here. It's everyone against everyone. And there's like trans people, and there's so much like there's so many flamboyant gays.
Well, you missed it. In the pre-show, there was a match where one of the wrestlers, their character is a drag queen.
I know it was
who's named Suplex. Suplex being a wrestling move.
Wonderful.
But I mean,
thing.
if anyone listening from PWA, if you're wanting to get into wrestling, they have tryouts. They hold the tryouts. They announce them on their Instagram. It's an incredibly inclusive environment, like Eden said.
Yeah, if you are like one of the lefties on this podcast and you're like, I wouldn't like wrestling, I was living. It's drag. Guys, it's drag. Yeah, but it's literally drag.
There's people from all different backgrounds. You've got people of all different, identities and orientations. Gay, trans, bi, lesbian, whatever you want, people from all over Australia, people from other countries as well. They're all very inclusive. And the funny thing is, you talked about like it's hard to get lefties into wrestling because it's kind of maybe seen as something like a
everyone in there
thing.
has like pink hair.
Yeah, it's a huge mix because you either get like bros who want to, like that's me and my mates who come in, they're just like, fuck it, and then you can yell at them.
Like guys who like grew up watching WWE.
Yeah. So
but like all the guys, all the people I know there are like super like nerdy, stoner, lefty,
because wrestling was like
people.
It's a bit of a nerdy thing to be a fan of when you're in your teenage years because people will be like, that's not cool. And then you get out of high school and you go, fuck it, I'm going to watch this. This is so much fun. But the other thing is at the tryouts, I remember looking around and you've got, like you said, you've got as left looking people as possible, the patchwork tattoos and the coloured hair, whatever.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you've got like the biggest
The boys.
bogan footy bloke. But the thing is, it's such an inclusive environment. Everyone really gets along.
Yeah.
And
like,
it's never like when you say there's the girl versus a guy fight, it's not like every fight is, oh, how's the chick going to get out of this one? No, they build up.
You hear, I heard guys behind me both being like that were obviously like their player they were going for was the guy one. They were like, smash her, blah, blah, blah. And then another group of guys, the player that they were invested in is the girl. They were like, smash him, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was like, it's just the team.
Well, that's how they build up the characters. And it's not a matter of what gender you are or where you're from and your nationality. It's if you can build up a good character that is believable by the audience and they believe in you, they will see a 4-foot girl who's skinny as the toughest person in the company, or it might be the biggest dude you've ever seen in your life.
Like,
it's about how you connect with the audience.
What's the champion again?
Jessica Troy.
Tiny. And like, I love that her aesthetic is like patchwork, crochet, like
it's
little
so
flowers
cool.
and stuff. She looks like one of the Newtown fashion girlies. She's wearing jorts.
And she got the 80s mullet perm. It looks awesome.
Like she looks like a flower child. She looks like someone at Woodstock.
But her whole thing is she's called the arm collector because she snaps people's arms. That's her finisher. But did you see Delta?
She's sick. Yes. Oh my God, Delta's sick as well.
I've like, you know, I said the other day I don't get starstruck by anybody.
Yeah.
I met Delta before the show. And I've sent her because I went to a show before and I messaged her being like, that was the best match I've ever seen.
She's like a performer.
I went up to her and I was like, hi, I'm Lockie. And she's like, oh no, we've talked on Instagram. I was like, we have, you're awesome. Like, she's so sick.
She's
I don't think it's
incredible.
a secret anymore, but she's going the big time.
Like,
yep.
Like,
yeah. Oh! That is what I've heard. But she is awesome, dude. She's got such a cool look. Fucking sick. Anyway, wrestling. So yeah, I did the wrestling show, eliminated myself, but had a great time.
It was so much fun. I had the best time ever because it was cool because like my friends from comedy, shout out Dave Woodhead and Andrew Hastings, they've been talking my ear off about wrestling for like a year or two now, maybe 2 years now, and I'm always like yes, but like. It was really cool because I thought, like years and years ago, I thought I was telling them something by being like, you know, like pro wrestling is just drag, right? I thought they're very like cool lefty guys, but it still made me laugh. They weren't like, oh, what? They were like, yeah, dude.
It is.
No, yeah. It's the same thing. Because I was like, you go to a club, it's just that there's house music in the background. There's just like, you know, pop divas in the background and there's more makeup slightly.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more wigs. There's probably the same amount of makeup. And it's just like everyone just hits the floor. Shablam. Like that is the exact same thing that's happening in the wrestling. It's just more, there's 2 people involved in the trick.
Yeah. Well,
it's incredible.
I mean, you got to sell the storyline. If it's a comedic match, you got to make people feel entertained. You also have the David and Goliath story. At the same time, you got to remember the moves you're meant to be doing. Like some of them will choreograph it before the show, or some of them will go, let's just get in the ring. And that's why a lot have long hair, so they'll have their hair over their face. We're talking. So last year there was a wrestler who was beating me up in the corner, and the whole time she's beating me up.
So it's like improv as well.
In a way. So if you're really good at it, you can just go out there with someone, especially if you've done it with them 1,000 times. You know their moves. Like
it's just like it's like partner dancing.
Yeah.
You know how people, if they've danced with someone for a while, when they improv,
you kind of know what they like to do.
You can see where they're going, and you know what to. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it was awesome. And yeah, so this girl, I was in the corner, like she's beating the shit out of me while other people are doing their things. We're making room in the ring, and the whole time she's got her hair over my head so people can't see. Which one is this? Kingsley.
Oh yeah, she's
the dancing one. She's awesome. She's awesome. But she was like talking to me while she's beating the shit out of me, going like, "You're good, you're good." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sweet." And she's like, "All right, you got to get up in about 10 seconds to go do your thing." I'm like, "Sweet." So they're talking. I want to break the fourth wall a bit, but also fuck Kingsley. I'll fuck you up as well, dude.
She's awesome.
I've been doing a lot of chatter.
Yeah, I loved it though.
Yeah, PWA, go check it out. And also Scott Green, good luck on Love Island. If you're on there, if you're not, that's a travesty.
And if you don't find love, you know where to find me.
Yeah, exactly. Should we get into...
No, wait, I just want to tell one more thing. When he came out, so every single person, because I was standing with Dave Woodhead, who's like 8 foot tall.
Yeah.
By the way, he's like actual giant.
He's huge.
He's massive, man.
Yeah.
And so when when you like hit someone on the chest when you're like looking at something, it's not like that. I was spending the whole time like this, Dave, Woodhead. And then when Scott Green came out, I didn't do anything, and he was like, and I was like, I feel normal about this.
He's a handsome looking man.
He's
I've got a
awesome.
bit of a man crush on him, so I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.